My name is Stephen Miller. I'm a member of the faculty at the University of California at Berkeley, and I'm an archaeologist who's had the good fortune to be the director of excavations at the site of ancient Nemea in Greece for more than a quarter of a century. I've always had dreams of making great discoveries, and I think that I've had my share. But I've had another special joy, because one of the things that I've discovered at Nemea has actually come back to life, lives, and makes a contribution to our society today, of what its significance is for our knowledge of our own past and how it is helping us to live in the dirt where it was born, the ancient Olympic idea. Recently, a group of freshmen here came together and we talked about one of the discoveries at Nemea and its significance. I'd like to invite you to come with me, come back to the classroom, be a student, and learn with all of us what ancient Greece has to tell us. We've seen the history of the discovery of the stadium where the ancient Nemean Games took place and the preparations for the first revival of the Nemean Games in modern times. Today, we're going to see the reenactment, the reliving of the Olympic idea in ancient Nemea on June the 1st, 1996. And I'd like to encourage you to come and be with us on June the 3rd and 4th of the year 2000 for the second Nemead. Get your feet tough, feel the ancient idea of the Olympic Games between your toes. The first batch of the starter, our friend Theodosius, you've seen him before, and our judges. Here's the mayor of ancient Nemea, here's the mayor of another village, and the mayor of another village, and the mayor of another village, who have volunteered to serve as judges. Of course, they knew that the governor was going to run, and they knew if the governor stepped out of line, they'd get the whipping. So there may have been some little stimulus there. Here comes Ambassador Niles, the United States Ambassador Niles, in his bare feet. Everybody had to be barefooted. You didn't have to be bare, but you had to be barefooted so that you would feel the ancient earth and the ancient stones under your feet, that you would be in direct physical contact with the ancient idea as well as the ancient dirt. Now, the local priest assured us that he took the flame on the 30th of March of 1996 to the church and kept it lighted until this date 2 months later, and then we lighted this off of his flame, and I don't want to disbelieve the local priest, so we'll believe that this really is the same flame that went to Atlanta, is still alive here, coming out to go down to our altar to light it up. You see here that there's no wind up yet, the flags are hanging limply in the back. Now we start our fire, and this fire will burn all day long, symbolizing the revived Nemean Games. Outside the locker room, it's chaos. We thought that we had organized people properly, but of course these things all break down. When do I run? When's my group? When's my group? And everybody had to sign in. Here is two of our members actually of the society who are getting everyone organized properly. This is the first group. Out of the locker room, the tunnel's off to the left, they're ready to go in. They're about to become part of history, the first modern Nemean Games. Some of you may or may not recognize this gentleman. His name is Al Bowker. He was the chancellor at the University of California at Berkeley when the Nemea project began in 1974. Here he is about to participate. Next to him is a fellow named Peyton Jordan, who for many years was a track coach at a place called Stanford, was the United States Olympic track and field coach in 1968. Next to him is a fellow named Dick Erickson, who was a quarterback on the last University of California football team to go to the Rose Bowl, and a whole group, former professors from the University of California, Berkeley, people from elsewhere. This is the ambassador of the Czech Republic to Greece back here, and here is a man named Nielsen from Southern California, 89 years old, the oldest participant in the Games. And now out on the track, the trumpeter sounds. Here is a fellow named Neil Verness, a member of the marching band from the University of California, giving notice to the crowd that an announcement is about to be made. In antiquity, you didn't have loudspeaker systems. How does the crowd know what's going to happen? There's a herald who shouts out, but how does the crowd know to shut up and listen? The local people from the Society for the Revival of the Games said, we've got to put in microphones and amplifiers, because we Greeks talk all the time, and we won't listen unless you all shout us. And I said, you Greeks are the descendants of those old Greeks, and the old Greeks did it this way, let's try it. And so we did, and it worked beautifully. The crowd listened. When the trumpet blasted, they knew it was time to shut up and listen, and they did. They shut up and listened. And by doing that, the crowd, even if they didn't run, participated. They became a part of what was going on that day. And then after the trumpet blast, the herald will then announce the names, and here come our athletes running out onto the track. They've been in the locker room, they've gone through the tunnel, and now they're out into the sunlight coming out in the track. They go to the far end, they draw lots out of a helmet, as was done in antiquity, for lane assignment. Here's Chancellor Bowker, a true academic, who's obviously thinking about this. And then the race begins. Here they take off. Peyton Jordan, it has a good start. Dick Erickson, the quarterback, has a good start. Chancellor Bowker is still thinking about it. Here they come down the track. It's between Erickson and Jordan. It's Cal versus Stanford all over again. Here's Al Bowker at the back, still thinking about it. And I hate to tell you, and Erickson hates to have me tell you, but it was Peyton Jordan who won the first race, and who got, as was the case in antiquity, the ribbon around his head and the palm branch in his hand. And here's Chancellor Bowker still thinking about it in the background. Other groups came through. You may recognize this former Chancellor of the University of California, Chancellor Tien, who until 2 years ago was the Chancellor here at Cal. In the background, you may recognize John Kasser, the athletic director here at Cal. Here's the American ambassador, Tom Niles. This is their group going out on the track to run. You see them running here. Here's Chancellor Tien, who did not exert himself very much. He didn't want to pull a muscle or have any accident. Here is John Kasser, who did exert himself and who did win, but pulled his hamstring in the process. And this was not an uncommon wound. I had my hamstring go out on me. Many other people did as well. You better get in shape for these games. Here is Cal and Stanford together with Tien in the middle, the two winners of their two heats. And of course we had women running. We couldn't not have the women. This was not authentic, but it was an important part of the races. Here is the start of the first women's race, not since antiquity, but ever in the Nemean Stadium. And these are the oldest of the women who are running. The absolute oldest one is down here in the very first lane. She was 79 years old. Here is a lady from Berkeley named Lilika Anderson, whose husband Kinsey is an emeritus professor of chemistry here from Cal. Here, the white-haired lady in lane 4 is actually going to be our winner. She is from Davis. Her husband was a member of the faculty at Davis until his retirement, and she was the first woman victor. Now, we have, as the ancient Greeks had, obviously, one locker room. But we have two genders. The ancient Greeks had only one gender, only one locker room. What do? We have to clearly have periods of time when we get the men out of the locker room and put the women in. How do we do that? Well, we had some intermissions. And during these intermissions, we had other types of entertainment. This is a group, a gymnastics and dance group from a high school in Athens, who came down and gave us their interpretation of the ancient Olympic spirit and danced around a very, very lovely display. At another intermission, this gentleman, who is a professor of music from the University of Athens, came out with his made up, his own replica of an ancient tortoise shell. You can't really make it out, but there's a tortoise shell under his hand down here. Tortoise shell lyre, singing songs of antiquity, 2nd and 3rd century BC songs that have been preserved to us on papyrus. And without any amplification, the crowd was quiet, the acoustics were good, everyone could hear him very clearly throughout the whole of the stadium. And our friends, the Corinth Choir, again here to serenade us in another one of the intermissions, again with the flags of all of the countries that participated in the background. I want to thank you for your attention over the last several weeks as we've looked at the history of the Nemean Games and the modern attempt to revive them. I would like to suggest to you that you get involved. If you would like to run, if you would like to be a participant in the Nemean Games on June the 3rd and 4th of the year 2000, you can send your name, your gender, your age, together with your address, to the Society for the Revival of the Nemean Games.